एक मिनट सर.
Please come, Preetam. Please sit down.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
So, Preetam, tell us briefly about yourself, your academic qualifications, starting from graduation, your work experience, if any, and your main hobbies.
So, my name is Preetam. I have done my graduation in electrical engineering from IIT Ropar. I passed out in 2018 and I am not in any job as of right now. And my hobbies include, sir, watching documentaries on big cats, playing volleyball, and general interest in affairs of national and international importance. Sir.
Good. So, Preetam, you have done from Ropar, that
Yes,
is
sir.
Punjab.
Yes, sir.
So, Ropar has got a new name now.
Yes, sir. Roopnagar.
Why this name has been changed?
Sir, it is after a king in the medieval times. So, it relates to that, sir.
Okay. And what is the special things, notable things that are available, that are seen in Roopnagar or Ropar? Can you count 2-3 things other than your IIT?
Yes, sir. So, one is the Harappan civilization. It was a site. So, there is a museum also, and the excavations are going on. Other is, sir, the Anandpur Sahib Gurudwara, which has a great religious significance. Thirdly, sir, we have the Ramsar site also. It is Ropar wetland is under Ramsar site also, sir.
Does this Bhakra Nangal also fall around Roopnagar?
Yes, sir. In the Nangal Tehsil of Roopnagar district, a part means it is both in Himachal as well as Punjab. So it is partly there, sir.
Good. So, Preetam, you are from Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
Are you in touch with Rajasthan?
I live in Rajasthan only.
You live in Rajasthan. Okay. So, Rajasthan has come out with a, revived the old pension scheme.
Yes, sir.
And there's a lot of UN cry, a lot of opposition that the state's finances, will nosedive, and similar thing is happening. The Himachal Pradesh government has announced some power, relief. Punjab government, where you have studied, has given some 300 units free. Now, all these decisions, you think they are in terms of welfare of the people, or they are more with some other, hidden agenda in mind? What do you think of these freebies?
Sir, definitely the people would benefit out of the schemes announced, but going forward we also have to keep the fiscal constraint of state in mind. If we go for these welfare measures and do not invest much in the development measures, so in long term it could prove to be harmful for the states. So there should be a balance. Definitely there will be benefit to people from these schemes.
Okay. You are an electrical engineer, Preetam.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, electrical vehicles, everyone has been talking about electrical vehicles and the kind of scope that electrical vehicle is being projected. I mean, it's going very high. Now, suddenly there are 20 electric vehicles, which catch fire, and there's a news all around. Now, with this kind of incident happening, exhibiting the fragility of the electric vehicles, you think it will make a setback to the growth of EV vehicles in India?
Sir, I do not recall such an incident of fire. So
it has happened. You assume that it has happened.
Okay, sir. So then it will definitely have a negative impact on perception of people regarding electrical vehicles, because safety measures are primary to any of the equipment that humans use. So
why do you think, as an electrical engineer, there are more fire incidents in electric vehicle rather than an internal combustion engine? What could be the possible reason?
Sorry, sir, I am not able to answer.
It doesn't matter.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to understand that when you travel by air, it is said that you can carry the power banks with yourself and not keep it in the checked-in baggage. Why? Have you understood why? I would like to understand from you. You need the power bank that is we use to charge our mobile phones. Okay, you carry with yourself. You cannot keep it in the checked-in baggage. Any special reason?
So I'm not exactly sure, but power banks are also prone to damage or catching fires.
So if they catch fire there in the cabin, that will be as hazardous as catching a fire in the checked-in baggage. Anyway, we come to.
I'm not exactly
Never
sure
mind.
about this.
You belong to Rajasthan, studied in Punjab. There has recently been directive of the Ministry of Home Affairs enhancing the jurisdiction of the BSF along the border.
Yes, sir.
Your take on that?
Sir, I think this is a right step according to me. It will give enhanced power to BSF without encroaching on the turf of the state police, because the implementation we have seen, like in Bengal also earlier it was objecting, but the conduct by BSF is that whenever they apprehend someone, they after a time hand it over to the police, state police. So I think, sir, it is a right step, because there are many cases of infiltration, etc. So the BSF has also recently, I read a statement that it has proved to be helpful for them to with their extended boundaries, sir.
But Preetam, there is also criticism of this measure. That no. Have you heard of the criticism of this step? And what is the criticism?
So the states are objecting that it will encroach upon their police powers, because right to search, seizure, etc. Are police functions that are under state police. So they claim that it is against federalism also. So that there have been a principle.
You see, there are clear-cut demarcation of what the state powers are, what the central powers are. The constitution is very clear. There is no ambiguity. Recently, the Punjab government passed a resolution in its own assembly that Chandigarh should come to Punjab. In what way can a state assembly resolution help in getting a union territory into the state and vice versa? Is it within the ambit of a state assembly to incorporate a union territory? What signal is it sending to pass such a resolution?
Sir, state legislative assemblies represent the will of their people, and they are representative bodies having right to express their opinion on matters related to them. So I think if they express this through any resolution, it indicates their will of their people to the central government. And sir, as per the power,
There is another platform of expressing the will of the people. Just a DO letter of the Chief Minister to the Prime Minister would have also expressed the will of the people. Whichever would be better, a cabinet resolution, an assembly resolution, or a letter from the Chief Minister to the President and the Prime Minister. These are also channels.
sir, I think if the matters could be solved initially with the internal discussions between the governments, then it is most beneficial, sir.
Okay, now coming to my last question to you would be, I'm very fascinated by the latest advancement and the measures taken by the new governments. This particular new government of Punjab, the Chief Minister is on record and is giving very, very interesting advertisement in various TV channels that we will eradicate corruption. We will eradicate corruption from Punjab. And if somebody asks anybody for money, don't refuse to give money. Don't refuse to give money, but record it in your mobile. I would like to understand the legal ramifications of such an appeal. Legal ramifications. Do you think giving of bribe, even if it is to trap by a public man, is it punishable or non-punishable? One. Number two, I give the money and at the right moment I fail to record because I'm nervous. I fail to record the conversation. Then option number two and option number three, I record and submit it to the anti-corruption department. Do you think that will hold any relevance during the course of investigation and prosecution?
Sir, the 2018 amendment to the Prevention of Corruption Act makes it a criminal for both giving and taking of bribe. So giving bribe is also a criminal offense. Secondly, sir, if the person fails to record, then I think it doesn't serve any purpose, and
He lands himself in very serious embarrassment.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Notice that you are interested in global matters,
Sir.
I mean international affairs.
Sir.
So, a lot of our neighbors have been in the news, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, etc. I would like to ask you about Myanmar. What do you know? What is the present status in Myanmar? I'm asking you because you are interested in global, you have written. Yeah, tell me.
Myanmar is still under the military rule, and people are protesting. There have been action by government on that. So these are daily affairs regarding that, sir.
But do you think it is under military rule, you said? Do you think military rule will ever end? Someday it will end. Civilian government will come. What is your assessment?
It has ended in the past, so there was civilian government for brief time, and people have not been backing down since they have tasted democracy. So I think will of people will prevail in the long term, sir.
So you think, according to you, there might be protests, demonstrations, etc., will bring down the military government. That is what you think as of now? Because in the past this has happened. So you said that it is civilian government had come back to power in the past. So do you think this time also something like that will happen?
I believe that, sir.
Believe that.
It might happen in the near future or later, sir.
Okay. Then among your hobbies, I see that or your sports interests have been shot put and javelin also. No, only shot put.
Only short put, sir.
Shot put. And to which level have you represented your college or state in shot put?
Sir, at school level, I went to state level in CBSE competition of state level. At school, I represented my college at inter-IITs, which is a sport competition of all the IITs held once a year. So,
In the last Olympics, we found India doing very well. I mean, gold medal we got in javelin.
Yes.
What is the status of shot put of India in the Olympics?
so at Olympics, we were represented by Tajinder Singh Toor, and he did not manage to get into the final 8. So he lagged by a few decimal meters, sir.
Meters. So last question is that you are interested in big cats.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what are the big cats? How do you categorize them? Name some big cats for my knowledge.
The big cats basically are categorized by the size, and in India we have tigers, the Bengal tiger specifically. We have Asiatic lion, we have leopards, clouded leopards, and snow leopard in India. While outside we have jaguars in South America, Latin America, as well as puma in that region, sir.
And puma where?
In these Latin America region only.
Do you know more names of puma?
It is also known as cougar.
Good. And cheetah comes in the big cat.
Sorry, sir, I forgot to mention that
No,
cheetah is
that
also a big cat, sir.
Big cat.
Sir.
And there was some news item some time back that cheetahs are being relocated in India.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Where are they being relocated?
Sir, the Kuno Palpur National Park in Madhya Pradesh has been a primary site as of now, but more consultation and surveys are going on for their location in other areas also, sir.
So you think they will have enough food here? They are being brought from Africa and suddenly coming into a foreign place. Will they have their food? Whatever they eat now in Africa, will you think, as a wildlife enthusiast or a big cat enthusiast, they will have enough food to eat?
So that has to be determined by the surveys, because cheetahs prey on small prey like mostly deers and even smaller than that. So while thinking of their relocation, surveys will keep in mind the prey population of that region also, sir.
Have you ever seen any of the big cats in the wild yourself, other than in the films?
I have seen them in zoos, sir, not in the wild.
Not. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Recently, in some states, AFSPA was rolled back.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
what was the reason for withdrawal of Armed Forces Special Power Act?
So the Ministry of Home claims that these reasons have been made stable, so there is no more threat perception of that level as to impose APSPA on these reasons.
But what was the main criticism against AFSPA?
So recently there was mess up in the Mon district of Nagaland. Other than that, sir, earlier criticisms have been regarding excess committed by armed forces and how it differentiate against particular reasons only, like in the northeast, while other people, like, they claim that Naxalism is also kind of violence, but they do not have APSPA. So they call for discrimination, basically, sir.
There has been now for a few years the practice of the Prime Minister is speaking radio broadcasts, Man Ki Baat. Now, what have been the main achievements from this, according to you?
Sir, it provides a direct connection between the Prime Minister as well and the public. He has talked about many important issues on this, so as to create awareness about many of the issues. He has also highlighted some of good stories or examples from many reasons to inspire people regarding taking positive initiatives. So these are, sir, few good things.
Have you heard about the International Criminal Court?
Yes, sir.
What is its jurisdiction?
Sir, it deals with war crimes, genocide, crime against humanity, and, sir, aggression also.
Has the International Criminal Court any jurisdiction in the present conflict ongoing in Ukraine?
Sir, Russia and Ukraine are not members of ICC, but the ICC has been conducting investigation in the human right abuses by Russia in Ukraine, sir.
That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Right, Preetam, I see you as a bright electrical engineer trained from one of the IITs,
Thank you, sir.
choosing mathematics as one of the subjects to crack this prestigious examination of civil services, and an avid nature watcher also, because you are interested. I'm taking the cue from my distinguished fellow panelist, big cats.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Having seen their behavior in the wild, does it add to some kind of a, say, alternate perspective of nature that you have, and also maybe gender relations? We are social animals, all right, but a couple of them are also social, right? So what perspective do you get about nature in general and gender relations, having been an avid big cat watcher?
So first is that life in the wild is really harsh. Animals struggle for their day-to-day meal. They go hungry for even days, weeks. So that is one, sir. Secondly, sir, it makes me realize the importance of the wildlife in the entire ecosystem. Because without them we would lose many of our important ecosystem balancing the climate of entire earth. Sir, about gender relations, like the lions are social animals. They live in large groups. Prides, they are called prides. So these are mostly or almost patriarchal, sir. The lions get the first share at the meals. They dominate the females in their day-to-day activities, sir. So they are patriarchal, sir.
Very good. So, do you prescribe this for us, the humans, or do you think that no?
Sir, over time we have evolved in morality. We are not
It has been an issue of perennial debate amongst scholars working on gender, that there is something that nature also dictates in terms of behavior, and legislative and civilizational changes with which we have burdened ourselves have actually made us little away from nature, and we are constrained to behave in a particular way. Would you add something to that?
I have vaguely come across such debates, but as we have progressed in our life and we are now civilized as we are, so I think we have to act according to that only, sir. So gender equality is necessary, sir.
Okay, good. Another question, just a short one. I've asked another aspirant
Sure.
who came before you. He also had mathematics as his subject. Where would you place mathematics, like an art subject or a science subject? Are you aware that in
Yes.
some of the universities, mathematics is also clubbed as an art subject? We have MA and BA in mathematics. So, your
Sir.
take on this?
For me, sir, I consider it more of a science.
Why?
So because it is a systematic study and knowledge, there are observation we derive from maths, and there is application to sciences also of math. So in that aspect, sir, I consider it to be in science.
What is the role of abstraction in mathematics? Imagination in mathematics? Do you form patterns that are more of a mental exercise rather than something given to you? I can see a different pattern in a constellation of facts. He can see a different pattern. You can see a different pattern. That's not objective.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to answer that, sir.
Okay. You.
Thank you, sir.
So, Preetam, last question I would like to ask from a subject or topic that you will choose.
Sir, Rajasthan.
We'll talk about Rajasthan. So, let's talk about Sikar.
Sir.
What is Sikar famous for with regard to the people there, and why we find that from Shekhawati there are a large number of people going into the defense services? Is there any cultural difference, between Shekhawati and other areas of Rajasthan, or is it just a matter of chance? Have you understood my question?
So there, I'm aware that people are much inclined to army and defense services in Rajasthan, in Sikar as well as Jhunjhunu, the Shekhawati region. I'm not exactly sure of the reason, sir.
Okay, so shall I ask you something else about Rajasthan? Why is Rajasthan called Rang Rangilo?
Due to it may be due to different colors, and people wear turbans, etc., and there are different customs, tradition, folk traditions are there which highlight different colors, etc. So I think that might be the reason, sir.
All right. So thank you, Preetam.